Welcome to r/Reddit Revenge. This is the story of someone getting back at someone with revenge after being wronged. Thank you friends for subscribing to the channel and for so many likes. The first story. In a battle of RC car enthusiasts against a soccer club's president, a deliberate slow ball retrieval during a grand final led to an unexpected victory. The second story. Troublesome neighbor's actions backfire as the strategic maneuvering leads to her eventual departure from the community. The third story. After initially being denied the option to work from home part-time after maternity leave, a turn of events revealed that everyone's position could be remote. The first story is, try to mess with my RC car club? Let me ruin your soccer team's grand final. My RC car club used to be in a sporting precinct next to a junior soccer club. The junior soccer club president and the committee were, to be blunt, a-holes. Their attitude was basically, we're bigger than your silly little toy car group, so you have to get our approval for everything you do. Sadly, that's exactly what we had to do, as they had 300 members compared to our 30. Precinct meetings between us, them, and the other sporting groups who used the area were hell, watching them throw their weight around. They would kibosh everything that they didn't like or didn't benefit them. Isn't local government bureaucracy great? Now, our club just wanted to work together and coexist peacefully, but it's difficult when someone goes out of their way just to be a tool. I was in my early teens at the time, and as far as I could tell, there were two main reasons as to why they hated us. Firstly, our track was next to their field, and in their eyes was a waste of space. They wanted it gone so they could have a warm-up space. However, they couldn't make us leave. 30 people, mostly dads and their kids, were ruining their plans. How horrible of us. The second reason was simply pure jealousy. RC racing was simply way more exciting than soccer. Mums and dads would come to watch the kids' soccer game but would end up watching the racing instead. Well, the dads would anyway. The mums, imagine 100 Karens, would get furious that dad would rather watch RC racing than little Timmy on the field. That gave the soccer club the SHs. Anyway, one year their team made the local grand final, and it would be held on their field. How exciting for them. The problem? Us. They wanted us gone for the day. Unfortunately for them, we had just as much right to be there as they did. We would be racing during their grand final. No way to stop us. It was their last-ditch attempt to stop us that got 13-year-old me peeved off. An email was sent by the soccer club president about the dangers of RC racing. It was hilariously pathetic. I can't remember exactly what it said, but what I do remember was a passage that read words to the effect of, RC racing is dangerous, and if an RC car leaves the track, it could go onto their field and hit a kid's foot. Even some of their own kids, referring to me and my fellow junior racers, could get hit. When the local government man replied, pointing out that there was several meters and most crucially a fence between our track and their field, not to mention that the junior racers had had racing safety drilled into them, can confirm, they finally shut up. The big day arrived and racing and soccer got underway. I was marshalling for a race when the grand final was getting serious. They were tied with minutes to go. Suddenly the ball got kicked out onto the track. As it turned out, I was the closest marshal to it. As the ball rolled to a stop, the words of that email popped into my head. A car could hit my foot. In that case, I should be way more careful than I normally would be. Had the Oscar committee been present, I'd have been a slam dunk for the slowest and most comical ball retrieval ever. Better let these cars go past before I run out to get the ball. Actually, no. Walk, don't run. And because I'm walking, GD it, the cars are coming around again. If I ran, I could make it, but better be safe and stop and wait again. Don't want to get hit. Finally, I get to the ball. I could kick it or throw it back, but nah, that might be dangerous. Better walk it back nice and slow. Wait, cars are coming by again. Better wait till they come past. Don't want to get hit. At this point, everyone in our club who's seen the email knows what I'm doing. My dad later said that our club president was struggling to stand from shaking with suppressed laughter. A snail would have been quicker than me. Now, I just did this as my own little petty FU to the morons in the soccer club. But it turned out that in the time I took to carefully give their ball back, I also inadvertently gave the opposing team the time to reposition a few players. And when the game restarted, oh boy, with just seconds to go, they scored the winning goal. Oops, who'd have thought being safe would lose you a grand final? I admit I do feel bad for the losing team. They were teens like me, but watching the club's president's face afterward made it totally worth it. He knew he couldn't do anything about it because we could shut him down with his own words. Still brings a smile to my face years later. Of course, safety always comes first, especially when it comes to RC racing. Your slow and careful behavior when you returned the soccer ball was a real masterpiece. I can see that you created your own safety barrier in front of the cars that ensured the victory of the football club's rivals. And the fact that you were able to use their own arguments to influence the explosive final game makes this story even more interesting. Your carefulness in returning the soccer ball was a real gem. You won not only the grand final, but also the hearts of everyone in your club. Judging by your story, you really made your mom and everyone else in the club laugh. This is a good example of how to respond to bullying in a harmonious and humorous way. Not only did you provide fun for your clubmates, but you also provided a memorable victory at that important moment. The second story is, neighbor in condo association acts like a jerk and we get her to move away. I live in a city in the Northeast in a relatively small condo association, 6 units. It's surrounded by new construction, but this particular building is a very old 1850s mansion that was converted into condos back in the 1980s. Because of this, every unit is totally unique, with different square footage and layouts. Important later. The jerk neighbor, let's call her Monica, was the daughter of the owner. She's also a has-been politician who was a former mayor of a small city in the state, who lost re-election almost 10 years ago. But she mentions this all the time. In emails, casual conversation, my former time as mayor. I'm very connected to the state, you know, and on and on. Another neighbor, let's call her Rachel, decided to sell her unit. As part of this process, she made improvements on it and had contractors frequently. We have a back hallway that's required for contractors to access units, and a partner had left some minor things on the first floor, as he was working. Jerk Monica apparently did have some connections, because without asking my neighbor or talking to the contractor, she managed to get a city inspector to come right over, who immediately fined the contractor for impeding access in the hallway, despite it being a small number of supplies. The contractor was so peeved he said he would never do another job in this building. Very annoying, as trusted contractors are hard to find. Monica did this because she likes to flex and is a jerk. Well, I spoke to Rachel before listing, and I offered to buy it from her direct. We agreed on a price and avoided real estate agent fees. Plus, she just wanted a simple transaction, as she already had a new house. I acquire the unit and start renting it out. Then another neighbor, Phoebe, wants to sell. The real estate agent emails all the owners in the building and tells us about the open house. Well, it turns out Monica wasn't contacted, because she's not an owner. And because of this, takes it upon herself to report the real estate agent to the state board for discrimination, because Monica is black. Cue the real estate agent calling me in a panic, asking me to vouch for her in a disciplinary review, which I oblige. Absolutely insane behavior. The unit sells over asking. Everything is great as it's boosting the value of our units in the building. However, the buyer is insisting that the condo board signs off that all HOA fees are paid with a form that's submitted to the Registry of Deeds, which requires a valid condo board. Since Rachel moved out, there's no condo board. We have been derelict in our duties. We haven't had an association meeting in years, not a single valid trustee since Rachel moved away. I read the condo docs with a magnifying glass over and over. It turns out with my 2 units, my wife and myself can each represent 1 unit and have 52% of the voting power because our 2 units have 52% of the total square footage. Ours are each 3 bedrooms while the rest are 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom. We have just slightly the max footage of the building and the majority beneficial interest, which effectively gives us full say over the building. As the sale process is happening, Monica's mother passes away from cancer, which she had been fighting for years. Monica now becomes an owner as she inherits the unit. In order to be elected to the condo board, you need the majority of beneficial interest, and at least 3 units to vote for you. We have 52% of the beneficial interest, but only 2 units. Therefore, 1 more unit to agree. I get the owner who's selling and moving away to agree to vote for myself and my wife, and I vote for them in return. That gives quorum. We sign off on the condo fees, and then the seller resigns from the board promptly. Now only my wife and I are trustees. According to strict reading of the condo docs, my wife and I now have de facto control of the board, and never have to have another election, because with beneficial interest 52%, we never have to approve anyone else, and even if everyone else votes, they can only give a maximum of 48%. In this situation, the remaining trustees can be the trustees indefinitely, if there cannot be quorum achieved. Monica throughout everything has been protesting aggressively, accusing us of racism, despite my wife and I being Vietnamese, and sending legal threats. My lawyer has been countering everything and there's no issue. Monica has now decided to sell and move away. It turns out she inherited $15,000 in unpaid condo dues that no one bothered to collect, because we had no board and were disorganized, that she will have to pay in order to get approval to sell. Furthermore, all of her contractors doing work on the inherited unit have had to park far away, because my wife and I have been very strict about hallways and driveway parking of vehicles impeding access, which is absolutely not allowed. We even got a van towed who was doing work on her unit because it impeded access. The tow truck works for the condo association rather than the city, so we could approve this as trustees. If Monica hadn't been such a total jerk, We would have been totally reasonable about everything. But once she started bringing lawyers and inspectors and playing the racism angle, everything became war for us, and she lost. Monica decided to play a game with you and your wife, and you responded with your own genius. In trying to set you up, she accidentally helped you gain control of the condo association. Neighbors like Monica really do make life more interesting and sane. These mixtures of different characters and comical situations, from fines to strict parking rules, make this story funny and unbelievable. And so Monica, as the main thief, decided to leave the stage. Well, now that Monica has decided to move out, your condo is going to be a lot calmer and less political. While it may be less comical, it's certainly a relief for you and your wife. Who knows, maybe this is the beginning of a new chapter in the history of your owners association. Without Monica, perhaps the neighbors will start to behave more reasonably and amicably. But most importantly, you'll always have your own humorous stories to tell at parties. The third story is, requested WFH 6 weeks ago. I went on maternity leave and had my baby in December. As disability was ending, and my paid family leave was about to begin, I requested to work from home part-time, since they didn't hire a temp to cover me, and I wanted to help out. CFO says, of course, whatever you want to do, just let HR know. I spoke with my husband about it, made arrangements with my mom, pushed my requested start date with the daycares, and set up my home workstation. When I finally figure out my schedule, I pass it along and HR denies it. The position is not a work-from-home position. No one's position is. They say I can come back part-time, but all my work needs to be done in the office. At this point, I'm irritated, and my husband and I agree that it'd be better for me to quit, stay at home with the baby for a while, then find another job in the future. But I tell work I'm just going to go ahead and take the whole 6 weeks of leave at once, and reevaluate towards the end. My anger dissipated, and last week I checked in and asked what my options were, so I could make a decision, and was pretty much left with a 1 or 2 week transition would be okay. But beyond that, this is a full-time position and should be treated as such. Wow, alright. My plans to work part-time until baby is 6 months never changed, but I guess since all my leave is almost done, they thought it'd be best to just force me back full-time. I quit. My manager freaked out and did not accept my resignation. Told me she would talk to all these people and work it out, and told me about how our president was peeved, that they would say that to me, and blah blah, just told off, don't make a decision. She'll get back to me. Okay? She was super excited to get back to me and tell me that they were willing to accept me part-time, and to give them a schedule so they could work out the pay. She said they were understanding and it was all just a miscommunication, and everyone knew how much I could help out and how much I could get done. And they needed me, etc. I said I'd think it over on the weekend. Well, this Monday rolled around and SH hit the fan and all this stuff happened, and they had a big meeting about getting everyone set up to work from home. I just laughed. Funny how it only took a day and it turns out everyone's position could be a work from home position. Ironic it was the thing I asked for when this all started. Now everyone gets to do it. Perfect timing since my maternity leave ends this week. But today I texted I still quit, and that's my story. This is a strange behavior of employees. First the CFO says yes, but then HR decides that working from home is impossible. But when you decide to refuse work, they suddenly change their position to everyone needs to work from home. Your response by quitting your job has become quite clear, and now you can enjoy the extra time with your baby. Thanks for watching, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.